Can you just explain what you saw differently in the defense from Chicago that allowed you to have such an effective game down low?
You know, I don't know if it was so much what they did as what we did. We came out very aggressive as we had the past few games. I think the difference is just we sustained it for essentially a full 48 minutes tonight, and we really came together as a team, and I think we played through the entire shot clock and really turned our good looks into great looks.
We'll talk a little bit about playing with a little bit of, obviously, a major sense of urgency, because if you lose tonight, you go home. And was that the key from the opening tip, that you played with aggressiveness and played with intensity and played with that sense of urgency?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a social life, you know, and I like hanging out with my guys here, so I definitely didn't want the season to end, you know. So I think you're right, you know, we came out with aggression from an opening tip, and that's something we're going to have to do on Thursday.
Brook, you mentioned, you know, kind of feeling awkward going up to the stage and everything. Like, do you consider yourself a star in this league?
You know, I consider myself, you know, a player on the Brooklyn Nets. You know, I'm in there with my team. You know, I'm just one of the guys, and I want to be known as the guy who's going to be there for his teammates, a great teammate, and someone, you know, who will be there to back him up.
What type of factor was the crowd being built tonight?
Oh, you know, they're so huge, and you know, we knew we were going to have a huge lift from them coming into this game, and it was going to be easy to get up for. You know, we knew they'd be behind us the entire time, and it was up to us to, like I said, sustain energy for the entire game.
With everything that's gone on here in Brooklyn this year and the success you guys have had playing this building, what would a Game 7 mean to play in your home building?
It'd be amazing, you know, but right now, as we said before this game, we were looking at the game right in front of us. We're taking it one game at a time, so obviously we're looking at this Chicago game right ahead of us. We're preparing for that, and we want to go in there with the same intensity we did tonight.
Early in the fourth quarter, it seemed like Black's kind of galvanized you guys a little bit with his spirit. Can you talk a little bit about the game that he gave you?
Yeah, you know, he's done that throughout the season for us, and he's definitely capable of it, and we're going to need more games like it, from him like that. You know, we have all the faith in him in the world, and when he gets his opportunity, he takes advantage of it.
Brook, over here. I'm sorry you got asked already, but you scored 20 straight points in your first 5 playoff games. To be able to do that, you know, what does that feel like for you in your first playoff series?
You know, I think it's just the way the game's been going. You know, we've been playing through our offense, running through it well, and guys have been giving me great looks where I can finish easy around the rim. And, you know, whoever's going at the time is going to score the ball. You know, it's that simple. We have a lot of guys who can put the ball in the bucket.
Do you feel you've been more aggressive also a little bit in playoffs so far?
Yeah, I've just been trying to finish more around the rim and trying to shoot less jumpers.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
TJ, how about the way Brook played tonight and all throughout this series, really?
He played like an all-star. He's played through, you know, again, going, seems like ages ago, but going into the playoffs, we're all saying, how's Brook going to be, his first playoff and everything, and he's been excellent. And I mean, it's for him to say, not for me. I don't think he was 100%, you know, with moving, but he was aggressive. He really took the ball to the basket really well, got to the free throw line, you know, clogged the middle, didn't block shots, but altered shots. I mean, I thought, you know, but I mean, obviously, Steph, I mean, a lot of guys played well. We got a huge lift off the bench from Dre and Hump and CJ in particular. You know, Sean gave us 5 minutes. I mean, a lot, you know, Gerald Wallace was excellent. I mean, just go down the line. Reggie had 12 boards. Joe and Deron. I mean, a lot of people played well, and it wasn't like we got up 12 or 14 and just were able to, you know, cool it the whole game. It went back and forth until the fourth quarter. There were runs we were never really comfortable, so we were kind of playing under the gun the whole time, which was good to see. And it was particularly good to see when we had different lineups on the floor. Those guys responded. What was huge was that segment starting the fourth quarter when we rested a couple of our guys, and those guys actually opened up the lead. I think it might have started at 4. They might even got the bucket to get it to 2, and then all of a sudden those guys had a run, and they had to use the timeout, and just a lot of people played well.
PJ, considering the finish on Saturday, how important was it to have Gerald step up and have that back-to-back sequence he did with the 3 and the dunk?
I mean, it's great, Ben, but I don't think our guys think that way. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I just, we've been saying, oh, everybody keeps, when guys aren't making shots, what about this, what about that? We're not winning without Gerald Wallace, so I'm not surprised when Gerald Wallace does good things.
Coach, what was the key offensively? You scored 110 points in a slow-paced game against a really good defense. What was the key offensively as far as the execution? Do you think?
I don't think it was, John. I just think our guys played well. We made some shots. We got to the board. We had 17 offensive rebounds. We did some of the things we talked about. We took care of the ball. We got ourselves in trouble early. There was that one, I forget what quarter it was. We had like 5 or 6, might have been the second, where we turned it over in the breakaways. But I mean, we had 11 turnovers, which is really good. We had 17 offensive rebounds, and we got 23 free throws. So we did all the things that you have to do against them. If you just live in half court, try and execute against them, you got no shot. So we did some of those extra things tonight. I don't know what our transition number was, but it was good with 21. So take your pick there. I mean, there it is. The so-called easy points we got tonight. We got some transition. We got some free throws. We got some offensive rebounds, and we took care of the ball. So we got field goal attempts, and we made some shots. Always looks nice when you make shots.
Coach, was there any concern at all about whether or not your team would have the level of intensity you need for playing, facing elimination, especially after Saturday? And did you get a sign early on that intensity was there from the beginning?
There wasn't concern, Jimmy. I mean, I believed that we would respond. I mean, we've bounced back all year too well, and as disheartening a loss as that was on Saturday, there's still been enough good minutes in this series. Neither of us are getting away from each other. I mean, I think they can, very clearly be confident, say we can beat these guys, and I think our guys can very, very clearly be confident, say we can beat these guys. So, I mean, it's what a 4 or 5 should be. We haven't gotten back in it yet. We're a day at a time. So, but I just think both teams feel they can play, and I would have been surprised if our guys didn't respond the way they did tonight. It just would have been out of character for the way they played all year. They've competed in too many other situations to not have competed tonight.
PJ, on your right here. Just wanted to know, 3:15 to go, you called a timeout. Can you tell us a little bit what you said? That you're only up 7, it was still pretty open at that point, what you said to the
Well, just that I actually said at that point that we had worked 82 games all year to earn Game 5 and Game 7 in this building, and we had to close the deal. Like, we've been in this situation before, guys, and we had to close the deal, and we had to close it with some stops and some rebounds, and we fortunately got it. I thought we defended well, but they missed a couple shots, but we got the rebound, and they did close the deal. But I think it's really important for them to understand that, that's what the 82 games was all about, for Game 5 and Game 7, if there is a Game 7, to be here. And you gotta take advantage. We created that opportunity. We gotta take advantage of it.
Andre played extensively in the 4th, gave you a big lift offensively. What was your opinion of his defense, considering how the Bulls' bigs have hurt you in the past?
I thought he was doing a good job. Again, they were going to Nate, they were going to different people, so it was hard to say. I just thought he was playing very well. The biggest thing he was doing was his shot selection was excellent. He didn't settle for jump shots unless the clock was on his back. He took the ball to the basket. He was aggressive, and I thought in the second half, I thought he defended much better than he did in the first half. And I don't know what he got rebounds. I thought he got a couple. Yeah, he got 5 boards, which is, he was playing very, very well.
PJ, coming into the playoffs, there's a lot of questions about Brook and how he would handle his first playoff series. Got 20 points in every game. He had 28 and 10 tonight. Could he have done any more in the series so far than what you've seen from him?
One more point in regulation the other day would have been nice, but no, he's played extremely well. Steph, he was obviously not here for this discussion earlier. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, he's played excellent. I mean, he hasn't played good. He's played extremely well. I mean, on both ends, and he's rebounded too. I mean, being crabby, like sometimes we'll say he's got 20 points and he got 5 block shots and, got a couple assists, and I'd say, well, he didn't get any rebounds, but he's also been doing that too. I mean, he's played a complete game, and I think he's been very aggressive, which is really good. But I mean, I mean, it's not like he wasn't a good player before this year, but I really believe he's taken it to a new level. And doing it in the playoffs, or hopefully continuing to do it in the playoffs, validates it a little bit more. I mean, making the All-Star team was great, having the kind of year he had was great, but if he comes into the playoffs and continues to play the way he's played, that's solidifying his position. I mean, he's had an All-NBA year. I don't know, what, I forget who votes, whether you guys vote or we vote on that, but I mean, I think he's got a legit shot to be on one of the 3 All-NBA teams, and I think he's deserving of that.
PJ, this morning you worried a little bit about extra minutes for Robinson, but when you look back on it, do you like the defensive matchup better for Deron? It seemed like he took advantage of it pretty well.
I don't want to say I like it better, but it limits Tibbs. Some of the moves Tibbs can make. I mean, Kirk has defended so well, and it's not like he's just a defensive stopper. He's also had like 15, 20 points and shooting a good percentage. So I mean, they're missing one of their better players. So that, I mean, it's a major factor. There's no question about that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Brooklyn was a more aggressive team.
What's the difference in the game? The rebound.
Tom, a trend all season is that you guys don't play as well, and Kirk doesn't play. Is that something that manifested itself again tonight?
Well, he's not out there, but I think it was a 3-point game with 7 minutes to go. We got to find a way to get it done. So we didn't play our best. The rebounding was a big problem, and then defensively, we got to get it together.
Tom, could you account for the offensive rebounding? Was it more the perimeter breaking down the offensive rebounding deficit?
Yeah, well, it's both. It's it's all tied together. Containment of the ball, reckless gambles. Smalls not sinking and filling, not getting to bodies, not driving back, not jumping. We got to do all those things.
Like you say, it was close in that fourth quarter, about 4 or 5 minutes left. Did you feel like there was going to be another good finish like there was on Saturday, or did you feel like you guys just weren't doing enough right?
Well, right from the start of the game, I knew they were reacting to the ball quicker than we were. So I was concerned about that right from the beginning. And it never changed. Now, we worked our way back and put ourselves in position. But, when you give, if you defend fairly well, and then you give a team a second and a third crack at it, it's hard to win like that.
Tom's here on your right. Although you guys did well in Game 2 and dramatic win in Game 4 the other night, is there any thought, there's certainly thought in the media that you guys are going to win this series and this is going to be all over in Game 6 when you go home. Home court advantage, what do you say about that? And considering that you struggled just to get over the line in Game 3 and obviously then heroics to come back in Game 4.
Well, the home court's not going to win it for us. We're going to have to play well. So the important thing is, it's good to be home. We have great support there, but we got to put the work into the game to give our fans something to cheer about. So we can't get it clouded. We have to get things corrected.
Tom, I know this game was lost mostly with defense and rebounding, but do you guys offensively need to search Carlos out more, especially on the repost? And he only had 8 shots tonight.
Yeah, we got to search him out. Sometimes the game tells you where it's going to, and then if they're giving help to him, we want to play inside out. But
Coach, just in general terms, can you talk about Nate's performance? Looked like he was under control for the most part.
Yeah, again, I'm disappointed because of the way we played. I mean, we lost by a lot. So when we win together. When we lose together. He had some parts where he played extremely well, but we all have to do better.
Tom, what are your thoughts on the ball movement, player movement, offensive execution?
Well, we shot a fairly high percentage. It's a different game. Each game is different, so I have to take a look at the film to see where maybe we could have better floor balance too when we shoot the ball.
Did you think your team wore down at all to the fourth quarter where they lack a scoring?
Well, I mean, you have to look at everything. have to look at, you have to recognize, number one, the fourth quarter is different than the first three. So everything's done at a different intensity level. Your decisions have to be quicker. You have to be more disciplined. And you have to, you have to screen better. You have to keep the ball moving, and you got to execute.
How important did you think Brook's performance was tonight for the Nets' success?
It was huge. It was huge. He had a huge night. We got to come up with a better answer.
Were you guys tired, or just the same as the Nets, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, these are, this is the playoffs. They're going to be hard fought. You're not dealing with back-to-backs. So, you can find an excuse if you want one, but you have to have mental toughness.
What did you think of the flagrant on Marco, and also there was a breakdown late where Joakim was up helping and Brook got that three-point play on the dunk? What do you see on that possession?
Yeah, those are things we have to clean up. The flagrant, I don't have to look at that, but I don't seem to have a good understanding.
To your key rebounders, Gibson and Noah, really didn't have any rebounds tonight. Is any view about what would happen in their situation?
Well, we have to gain rebound. It's not going to always fall on Joe or Taj. Our smalls have to get in there. They got to come up with some rebounds. Collectively as a team, we got to do a lot better. So you got to hit, and then you got to fight.
Tom, I know you talked about rebounding, but can you just say that 17 offensive rebounds is, it's just unacceptable?
Obviously, that to me was, the difference in the game. And then we have to look at, how they got them. Was it dribble penetration? Was it the post up? How did they get them? And we have to get back to, playing better overall defense. Allowing a team to score 110 and shoot a high percentage, that's not going to get it done. The rebounding component is critical.
Thank you.
Kurt Hines being out for the Bulls. What did you see differently from their defense? You had a double-double, 23 points, 10 assists. What did you see out there?
It was pretty much the same stuff. They tried to play, pretty much the same way they've been playing before. Forced me to one side, keep me, wherever I was at on the floor, and every time I got in the lane, it's like about, 2 or 3 guys. It's pretty similar.
What was the dialogue like last 4 or 5 minutes of the game as you guys were trying to close things up?
We didn't have to say much after the last game. It's pretty evident what we needed to do, and I was just close the game out. And I thought we did a great job of it.
What about Brook tonight? He's been playing fantastic this whole series, but did you see a different level of competitiveness?
Yeah, you see it in his eyes tonight. He had it going. He was rebounding the ball, he was scoring the ball. Of course, he's been, great defensively for us all series with his block shots and just, clogging up the paint. He was just a monster tonight.
Something dramatic has changed for games 4 and 5 for you to be able to take control of the game for large portions of it relative to 2 and 3, or is it just something that you're choosing to do differently?
I think, game 2, I really just struggled. I couldn't hit a shot. 3, I hit a couple shots, but just couldn't get it to rhythm. They did a good job defending me, making things hard on me and uncomfortable. So, it's just, I think, just figuring them out a little bit. It comes to playing with the team a couple times in the playoffs.
Is Robinson a little easier to get past rather than a lane?
Yeah, Kirk is a good defender. He's tough. He fouls. He gets into you. He does what he's supposed to do. He tries to get under your skin. So, it's definitely a different look between Nate and Kirk.
You guys have struggled a lot during the season in the third quarter. You scored 13 big points in that quarter. Did you come out and put that on your shoulders and say, I'm not going to allow that to happen?
No, I didn't think about it. I just, kind of got going in the third. It just happened as a quarter kind of. Got going and turned the ball over a couple times and frustrated by a couple of no calls, and it just got me going.
Was the aggression by the kids, was you getting in the paint or them just starting out that way?
I think it was them. I think I fed them the ball in the paint a couple times, but I think you know, Brook came ready to play tonight. You know, he was locked in. He, you know, was demanding the ball. He didn't settle for many jumpers. You know, he was attacking the basket. And I think PJ's done a great job of kind of staying on him and making sure he you know, stays around the basket.
Reggie was over here saying Brook is one of the top 2 big men in the league. Would you agree with that? And how about the way he's having never played in the
centers,
postseason?
I mean, it's hard to put, you know, 1 or 2 guys in front of him. The way he's played this year. The way he's played this year.
She dropped mine?
Yeah, I dropped yours. It's actually fun.
Gets an assist. She dropped mine?
Yeah, she just broke too. The way he's played all season, you know, he just stepped his game up a lot. You know, I talked about it all year. You know, I think he had a chip on his shoulder with all the Dwight rumors and you know, all the things, his injuries last year, all the things that gone on. Just kind of think that got him going. And he worked real hard this summer. You know, and it's been great for us all so far.
Deron, you guys have been talking since Saturday about taking 1 game at a time. How confident are you about the way you guys are going to be able to respond on Thursday?
Sure, I'm really happy. Man. I think, you know, this is a big win for us. I mean, every game is an elimination game. Every game is the most important game of the season from here on out. And so, you know, I think we attacked it that way. But, you know, it's not over. We got a tough game, you know, in Chicago. We know they're going to be ready to play. You know, the crowd's going to be into it. You know, they're going to try to, you know, end the series.
How much excuse me, at this point, we just got to take 1 game at a time. It was great to come back home, get in front of our fans, and we really had that 6 man that we needed to get us over the edge. Now, you know, we just got to stick together as a team, man. Going to Chicago on Thursday, and trying to force that out.
What was the key? They did make a run at you again late like in the last game, but how did you hold them off?
I was just trying to keep pressure on the back line. And make them big.
More confidence now from surviving 1 elimination game over the next?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think we've had confidence throughout this whole series, honestly, even though they won 3-0. I still think we got a chance to come back and win this series. I'm saying that we're going to have to buckle down in Game 6 and keep all that around.
Joe, he's played the game for a long time. Is there any part of you that's wondering 5 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, they start to make a little bit of a run? Are you at all wondering how's this team going to respond, especially after what happened the other day?
Well, I never crossed my mind, man, that we would, you know, have a nice house or let down like we did, you know, in the previous game. So, really, as you can see, man, we really took the shot clock down to about 5 or 6 seconds each time. Just trying to get the best shot available. I thought Brook and D were really carrying us, you know, down the stretch, making big plays.
And they had a lot of turnovers during the game, missed a lot of shots. Defensively, something specifically you were doing differently?
No, we just playing great team defense, taking tough shots, and you know, they just didn't make a lot of them. Pretty confident. We've been in every game. Chicago and just came up short. Very disappointed in that last game in Chicago, but you know, it's a bounce back game for us tonight, and it gives us momentum going to Chicago on Thursday.
How about the way Brook has responded to his first playoffs? I mean, he's playing better than pretty much everybody expected him.
Oh, he's been playing the same way he's been playing all season. He's been that dominant low post presence that we need. But not only that, you know, he can take you outside, pick and pop. So he's been giving us a variety of things.
Joe, what did this tell you about your ball club coming back here off that type of loss and to just put it behind you and come away with the W?
Well, I mean, we responded to the challenge, knowing that this is an elimination game for us, and we came out hit first and pretty much controlled the game from start to finish.
Joe, how critical was it that opening minutes of the fourth when Andre, you know, scored those few baskets and all kind of got you guys going offensively?
That was huge, man. You know, we got so many guys on this team, man, who can really take over a game or make big plays, so to speak, and latching that fourth quarter was big for us.
Joe, I was over in the other locker room. I don't know if you talked about Jay, so I just wanted to ask you about the respect that you have for him and the courage that he showed today.
I mean, I'm happy for him, man. If you know, if that's fulfillment for him, you know, congratulations to him. You know, he's a great teammate, a great friend of mine, and you know, won't nothing change.
The type of class he showed today is what he showed you as a teammate and to all the guys?
Yeah, definitely. Jason was always a good spirited guy, man. And, you know, he always was upbeat. And, you know, he was just a great guy, a great teammate as well. So he never complained about anything, but was always ready when his number was called.
And this is a good step for the league and for sports in general, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. You know, for guys to be open with it, to come out. You know, I don't think anybody in this locker room or anybody in the league ever been able to be respectful.
So obviously you guys were angry after what happened the other day. Do you carry that anger to tip off, or when did it become something else?
Well, man, you got to put the games behind you and move forward. You know, what happened in Chicago happened. It was unfortunate, and we can't dwell on that. We had to come out and you know, really play our butts off tonight and try to force another game. So, you know, now we'll put this game behind us and get ready on Thursday.
Did anybody speak, you know, before the game? Did you have any sort of locker room pregame thing, you know, as a team?
No, not really, man. It was, I mean, just the vibe around the room. You didn't have to. You know, guys already knew what it was going to take, and we knew what we had to do to come out to put on a great performance.
And what was the mood like yesterday? Was, you know, at the facility? Was it pretty down, or had you guys forgotten it at that point?
Nah, we was off yesterday. We was off yesterday. Yeah. We just made it in today. So, you know, guys, you know, took some time off to really clear their heads and get back to work today.
How much more does like a 3 overtime game, especially in the playoffs, take out of you than like a normal regular game?
You know, it's really not that bad, considering the fact that there's no back-to-backs. You know, you get a chance to rest. So, I mean, it's part of it. Honestly, it was fun. It was unfortunate that we came up, you know, on the short end of the stick, but, you know, I thought it was pretty fun.
Thanks, Jeff.